Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ted the Atheist from PurgeSacred.com. Today we're going to talk about society and why it should be self-correcting and how it's okay to judge others. Now, what does it mean to be self-correcting? To be self-correcting society means you have a society that corrects others when they're incorrect about anything they've said. Now, next question is, why should society be self-correcting? Society should be self-correcting because in order to solve the most important problems in society, we need to have the most accurate interpretation of reality. So in order to do that, we need to have everyone on the same page about what reality is, what is true and what is not true. The more we allow ourselves to posit fallacious beliefs, the further away from an accurate interpretation of reality that we get. Therefore, as you can understand, we should not shy away from voicing our opinions when someone's incorrect about something, because the more we assist in a better interpretation of reality, the better society is. Next question would be, what are the negatives to not correcting others? Well, they can vary from bad laws we may have to violence and things of that nature. Although there are different aspects to the negatives that not correcting others could lead to, I'm going to go ahead and touch up on the main one that we all can see firsthand and not deny, and that is religious violence. Now, people who would commit violence on the basis of religion would have a difficult time doing that if they did not have a base that supports them. And part of that base would be the moderates. These are people who are religious, who say it's okay to believe, but don't do the extremes of religious violence. But the fact that they promote this type of thinking gives a shielding to those who would do violence in society. So when someone says, "Oh, I don't do anything wrong, I just have my beliefs, etc., etc., it's one of those things where if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So if you just believe in a God and you tell others you do, you therefore promote the idea that belief in something which is unproven is therefore beneficial or okay. And that's not the message we want to put out there, because it's not okay to have fallacious beliefs, because our beliefs dictate our actions. So if we were to do something, if we were to have a bad belief about how the world works, chances are we'll have bad actions in the world and what we do. I would like to read to you an excerpt from a book that was written in 1877 by a William Kingdon Clifford. It's entitled The Ethics of Belief. I'll go ahead and put a direct link to the PDF online you can go to and read it for yourself. I definitely encourage it. In there, this is from 1877. In here he says, "No real belief, however trifling and fragmentary it may seem, is ever truly insignificant. It prepares us to receive more of its like, confirms those which resembled it before, and weakens others. And so gradually it lays a stealthy train in our inmost thoughts, which may someday explode into overt action and leave its stamp upon our character." Basically, he's saying kind of what I've been feeling for many years now, but I don't really see people talking about it ever. Basically, when you have these bad beliefs, you therefore may foster others, because the processes of challenging bad beliefs are not in play in your head. So you allow for other bad beliefs to come in there. And then, as I said just a moment ago, bad beliefs create bad actions, which is bad for society. Basically, what William says is that careless beliefs makes us easy prey for fake news peddlers, conspiracy theorists, and charlatans. William says that allowing us to become hosts to these false beliefs is morally wrong, and the consequence can be devastating for societies. He He says we have the moral responsibility not to pollute the well of collective knowledge. He says that adding false beliefs is immoral because everyone ultimately relies on this vital shared resource. Judging others is fine as long as you have logic and reason on your side. As we well know, anyone can judge anyone else, but unless you can defend what you're saying, your judgments really won't hold much water. If someone says a belief which is inaccurate and you judge them for it, and then they complain about being judged, then the best course of action is not for you to withhold judgment, but for them to never state the fallacious belief in which they have, which is bad, actually, because we should know any false beliefs people have so we can correct them. But if anyone ever complains about being judged, well, then maybe they shouldn't have said anything. It's not wrong that you said something. It's they started the wheels turning with that. Also, when I go out, and you might have seen my previous videos when I'm debating preachers and such, I don't really expect to get through to the preachers per se, but there's always a crowd listening. If there isn't a crowd listening, then I'm going to upload the video, and eventually a crowd will be watching my videos. So I do it not because I really think I'm going to correct the other person, but because I know I'm going to affect quite a lot of people in one way or another. Another thing someone may say is that, well, you can't judge me. If I respect you, you need to respect my beliefs. No, you don't. You don't respect people's fallacious beliefs. Beliefs, just like people, need to earn respect. They're not respected just because you can have a belief doesn't mean that belief deserves respect. Or just because you are a person doesn't mean you deserve respect. You can give a certain amount of respect to people you don't know if they're handling themselves in a respectful manner, but everything, all the time, respect is earned. I know a lot of you go around and say, well, I respect other people's beliefs. If they're good to me, I respect them, but I don't really think you do respect their beliefs, or even if you do, I don't think you should, because respect means a feeling of admiration or deep admiration. And we should not be respecting beliefs if they're fallacious, because we shouldn't have a deep sense of admiration for someone's effed up view of how the world works. This is just not beneficial to society at all. So in closing on the respect issue, you can respect someone's right to believe in something, but not the actual belief itself, unless it's a logically sound belief. So yes, people have a right to believe in whatever they want to, but that does not mean that their belief deserves to be respected or should not be judged, or basically, just because you can believe something doesn't mean you should, and it doesn't mean that that belief should be free from ridicule. So I know there's a lot of you out there who think that we shouldn't speak our minds whenever someone says something fallacious that's bad for society. I call you fence sitters. And fence sitting's not really going to do a whole lot. You can only accomplish so much by sitting around in a circle, holding hands, singing Kumbaya. You're not going to solve the problem at hand. Sure, you can get together a bunch of people who believe in different things and contradictory things and form your little circle and roast marshmallows and sing together and stuff like that. But is that really going to address the problems? No, they're addressed by actually talking about them. There's a time for togetherness and love, but there's a time for discussing the errors of someone's thinking. You can't think that fence sitting is somehow going to cure people's bad ideas. It's not. When you're fence sitting in a circle, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, roasting marshmallows, you're not really. People with bad ideas are not going to have an epiphany and be like, wow, this is so good. I'm going to stop, killing abortion doctors. I'm going to stop, doing this or doing that. I got it all wrong. That's probably not going to happen. Questioning bad ideas is important because having imaginary friends is not a good idea. By actually talking about bad ideas, you not only hack away at the delusions that people have, but you allow advancement in society of ways of thinking that need to be done. By ignoring the problems, we have a slower effect on advancing ideas and advancing the morality of society, because this actually does affect society's morality. And the more we question bad ideas, the further along and the better society we can attain. Now, I know everyone's different, but I want to finish up by saying, don't be afraid to speak your mind. Don't do it at work, obviously. You have to see those people every day and it's your paycheck. But just about every other setting I can think of, pretty much it's okay to speak your mind. You should say what's on your mind. And when someone says something that's incorrect, you should be able to reply with your own thoughts. And I know it's difficult for some of you, but you're actually doing good things by doing that. You're helping society. And the more we can question, the more we can get this type of thinking out there about how we should be conquering bad ideas, the more we will shift society in a way to make it shameful to believe in a God and other fallacious things out there. Because my way of thinking on this should not come to a surprise, should not be a surprise to people, but it is. I'm sure it will for some of you, but we need to make belief in God something that's a bad idea to have, something that people don't really want to admit to. It needs to come to that level, because if we don't do that, we're not doing our job. We're not attacking bad beliefs as much as we should. Belief in God and other religious beliefs should be shamed and ridiculed because of the devastation they do to society. An example today, going around, talking about how someone may be pro KKK or very racist. Now we look down on that, right? It's shameful to say that. You'll be called out. You'll try to be canceled. People will try to get you fired from your job because it's not something that should be done, right? The same thing should be happening to belief in God. We should not have people going around saying, "Hey, I have imaginary friends as an adult," and then the clear child abuse that's ongoing, where they indoctrinate their children to believe in the same thing. That should be even more repulsive. So we should get to the point where we shouldn't have to worry about children being brainwashed and abused like that, because it's a form of child abuse. It's mental. So in closing, thank you for watching my video, and please go to my site, purgesacred.com, and sign up for my newsletter, and hopefully I will get even better at making these videos, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.
We do not watch atheist shit in this house.